Maybe that one stayed. That was a cheap one I had. No, it ain't gonna stay. Take it off.
Trying to save money on air conditioner or what?
We're hot.
Hey. I knew where the control was.
It's gonna get hot,
I'm watching.
61, is that good?
I knew that's what you were doing. I was watching you pushing a lot of buttons.
Yeah, that.
I get in trouble for that one. It's just
And in between,
I'm just, I think it's a man thing. It's just a man thing. And it makes sense.
This budget. This budget's really good.
Yeah, I ain't thought about that.
Pink is the thing of the night.
There we go. We're ready. Call the meeting to order, the June 5th, we're already in June. The June 5th of 2023 meeting will come to order. This time, I'll turn it over to Vice Chair Lee.
Good evening, everyone. At this time, Commissioner Letha Lee will have our invocation.
Please pray with me tonight. Merciful and loving God, you are the author of life and the source of all truth. Help us live lives of generosity and integrity that are rooted in your love and guided by the value of the gospel. Grant that in our service to Sampson County, we bring depth of our faith and the vigor of our discipleship and clarity of vision only your spirit can impart. As we gather today, we seek your wisdom and guidance. Protect us from self-interest and narrow agendas. Teach us humility and make us hungry for your will. Be with us in our discussions and guide our decisions so we always do what is right and just and serve worthily those who rely on us to focus the vision, set the agenda, and ensure the visibility of this noble institution. May our service bring you glory, you who are a loving God and merciful Lord. We now say amen.
Thank you, Commissioner. Will you rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Lee. At this time, I need approval of the agenda. We've got a walk-on, is that correct?
Make a motion approval of the agenda from last month.
Second. Hold on a second.
Do we need to clarify? We've got the information for the Roseboro Rescue.
It's already an item on your agenda.
Okay.
We just
Okay, mine-
need some additional materials.
We've got one.
Our walk-on is a jury commission appointment, item 4B.
Okay, we got a walk-on the appointment, so,
Okay.
so the motion could be as amended
As amended.
with the walk-on?
Correct.
Yes.
All right, second. All right, all in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous. Okay, that's approved. At this time, we'll call Mr. Wayne Edwards forward. He's got some special guests here that he wants to introduce to us.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for allowing us to be here, and I see we've actually incorporated Miss Sampson County along with the Miss Spivey's Corner, Miss Dunn, and Newton Grove program, so we're tickled to death everyone could be here. Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners, administrators, and special guests, thank you for this time. It's always a good time when these girls are getting ready to go to Miss North Carolina and compete, that they can come down and get some, let y'all meet them, they'll be representing not only Spivey's Corner. This year we crowned Newton Grove's team, and we left the Dunn girls working on some more stuff tonight. So our organization will have 5 queens competing at Miss North Carolina. A little brief history, right quick, about our organization. We have just crowned our 51st Miss Spivey's Corner. So last year we added a Dunn, and this year Newton Grove. So I'm going to tell you this in a short. We're always looking volunteers, we're looking support, and we're looking sponsors to help us, direct or indirectly. And I'll talk with y'all about that later on. We are an official preliminary for the Miss America program. If our queens, either one of these sitting behind me, the teens go and win North Carolina, they are going to the Miss America teen competition. If the Miss girls that are here win Miss North Carolina, they're going to Miss America. We give out approximately $70,000 in scholarships at our organization, which is in kind and cash and other prizes. So I'm going to let these girls introduce themselves to you. They're going to share their community service initiative, which is what they work on, what they are working on for community service, and how it benefits their community and this county. And in the words of the Reverend Floyd Ray, I know a lot of you know him, let's show these girls some love tonight, and I ask that you continue to keep them in your prayers, your thoughts. The next 3 weeks from today, we'll have 2 new queens in North Carolina. And I'm hoping that it's some of these sitting back here behind me. Thank you again for allowing us to be here. And I would ask that whenever these girls get through, that we have a photo op, please.
Good evening. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you all tonight, and good evening to everyone who is here as well. My name is Haley Jo Baker. I am Miss Spivey's Corner, the 51st. I'm representing the Hollerain Capital, and I will be competing for Miss North Carolina June 22nd through the 24th, which is literally just around the corner, and I'm super excited for the opportunity. I am a recent graduate of the University of North Carolina at Pembroke with a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, my concentration being in 9th through 12th secondary mathematics education, as well as a minor in business administration. I have just a little bit that I want to talk to you. I'm very passionate about teachers in North Carolina, so my community service initiative is called Putting the Pro Back into Professional, advocating for North Carolina's teachers. It has been said that one teacher can make all the difference in the lives of a child. I've had the benefit of experiencing that firsthand with my 6th grade math teacher, Miss Jody Pearson. It was then that I realized I wanted the opportunity to share my excitement and the necessary problem-solving skills with others as a math teacher. However, now that I am working in my chosen profession, I understand the difficulties that can come with following your dreams. In 1992, a teacher entering the classroom earned an annual salary as low as $18,000. Now, more than 30 years later, the starting salary for a first-year educator is only $37,000. That has not even nearly doubled. This increase in compensation over the past 3 decades does not keep up with the rising cost of inflation, the rising cost of housing, and it does not provide our educators with enough funds to provide our state's children with supplies that are necessary to be successful in their learning environment. During the pandemic, parents across the county and country were required to take on the responsibilities and challenges teachers face day in and day out, when our children were forced to take their learning from a classroom to their actual home. Families face a collective sigh of relief when students and their children were able to head back to school, and we all felt an increased respect for the teaching profession. This is why I created Putting the Pro Back into Professional, using 3 straight A's: acknowledging teachers as the professionals they are and compensating them accordingly, assisting in the classroom with needed supplies, and advocating with local and state leaders that teachers are the foundation for all professions. Advocating for North Carolina's teachers begins with acknowledging our role as a profession and assisting with resources for the classroom. But to have a positive impact that results in real change, speaking up and out for our teachers begins with each and every one of us. Whether that's hosting a school supply drive, which I recently just did and it's continuing on, to meeting with elected officials at the North Carolina General Assembly, I want to be that voice. There is power in members and numbers, and my ultimate goal is to become North Carolina's superintendent of public instruction to ensure that teachers do have a voice. In addition to the lack of compensation and supply deficiencies, classroom size was a major concern for many of my colleagues. If translated into a corporate setting, some high school teachers especially would have as many as 90 direct reports, which for a higher level of compensation would most certainly be reflected with 90 direct reports. I struggle with why this is not the case for our teachers. If you're not sure or unaware, North Carolina ranks 33rd among teachers' compensation in the United States, and I believe we can and we must do better for the individuals who are on the front lines of education every day. There's currently a bill working through the legislative process on Capitol Hill called the American Teacher Act that would increase the base salary for K through 12 public school teachers to $60,000 a year through a 4-year grant that states will have to apply to. The author of that bill, Congresswoman Frederica Wilson, stated that our nation's teachers have been underpaid, overworked, and deprived of resources for way too long. And honestly, I could not agree more with that statement that she made. The past few weeks, I've been thankful to have the opportunity to sit on meetings with North Carolina's Drive Task Force, as well as attend the North Carolina State Board of Education working session and board meeting, where I was able to talk to numerous representatives, including members from the Office of the Governor, members from the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. I actually had the opportunity to meet the State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Ms. Catherine Truitt, as well as Eric Davis, the chair of North Carolina's State Board of Education. The proposed budget for teacher pay right now includes an 18% raise from the governor over 2 years, a 10% raise from the House, and a 4.5% raise from the Senate. We need to advocate for the governor's increase, and I agree with the American Teacher Act, once it hopefully gets passed, to understand that we need to compensate our teachers accordingly for all the hard work that they're continuing to do. Before I end, I just want to leave you with something I learned and heard from Amy White, a member of the North Carolina State Board of Education's committee. She left me with this word called future, and she created an acronym, and for each letter she has a word, and I just want to leave this with you today. Future. F for funding. We need to fund our public educators. They are the true foundation for all professions, and it's very hard as a first-year teacher to have a livable wage. U for urgency. The time is now. There's no need to look to the past, but towards the future. Children are our future. T for trust. Trust the process. Let your voices be heard and trust in what you stand for and believe in. U for understanding. Understand that it's going to take time. It is going to be a process, but if you are using your voice each and every day, you are making a difference, whether you realize it or not. R for responsibility. We as educators, you as state members, local members, you have a duty and responsibility to ensure that you are putting priorities first. R for recovery. We're still in that recovery phase from learning how to really educate our students from the big gaps that they have in their learning education. And R for reality as well. This is the reality in which we live. Children need us. We need educators. There are over 5,000 vacancies right now in education in North Carolina, and that's not acceptable. And E for each and every child deserves the best possible education, and that starts with the teachers that we're putting in the classroom and the teachers that we can retain year after year. I look forward to continuing my work with my community service initiative, and once again, I thank you all so much for the time to speak. Good evening, everyone. My name is Madison McVeigh. First off, I just want to say thank you so much for having us tonight. So a little bit about me. I'm a recent high school graduate. I graduated from East Wake Academy in Zebulon, North Carolina. And after high school, I plan on attending Wake Tech for my first year to then hopefully transfer to East Carolina University to obtain my Bachelor of Science of Nursing, to then work at Duke University Hospital and become a pediatric transplant nurse. So a lot of steps, but glad I have it planned out. Thanks to the Miss America organization for helping me raise scholarship money for my future career pathway. So within the Miss America organization, we have our community service initiative, and mine is Check Yes for Life, bringing awareness and education to organ donation. This started when a family friend of mine, Taylor, passed away at the age of 24 years old and was able to donate his heart to another young adult. This changed my life drastically because organ donation is not something you think of on a daily basis, and it's so easy to just check yes. So now, partnering with the Miss America organization as well as Donate Life North Carolina and my very own nonprofit, Check Yes for Life, which is official now in North Carolina, I have been able to publish a children's book called Check Yes for Doing Good that I plan on reading in schools all across the state of North Carolina, as well here in Sampson County, as well as I launched a podcast where I bring on people about times that they check yes during difficult times and people who have been organ donors or been impacted by organ donation itself. So now my mission is to go across North Carolina as well as putting in my curriculum that I have implemented into schools across North Carolina. So what that is, it's teaching children and high school students how easy it is to check yes, why it's important, and it's so simple but so critical. So I thank you so much for having me tonight, and as always, check yes for life. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to meet and speak with you this evening. I'm Carly Ramsey, Miss Newton Grove's teen. Miss Newton Grove's teen is also the newest addition to the Spivey's and Corner Dunn pageant. I'm the first ever teen to represent the Newton Grove community as their queen. Therefore, I want to leave a legacy and imprint as the first ever queen. During my reign as queen, I visited the Sampson County Animal Shelter. I'm a huge animal lover. Several classes at Hopton Elementary, Newton Grove Commissioners meeting, and completed several donation drives. In the school classrooms, I talk about how spreading kindness can make a huge impact on others because we don't know what others are going through behind closed doors. I encourage students to speak out in a time of need, confusion, or crisis. This relates back to my CSI. If you don't know what a CSI stands for, it stands for Community Service Initiative in the pageant world. In the real world, it's known as a platform. My CSI is called Reach Out, Speak Out. Reach Out, Speak Out has a deep meaning to me. Being a teen who went through bullying, I struggled with the use of finding my own voice. I want others to know that they aren't alone in any situation, and the help is always available. I have created a website with phone numbers to call and web links. I have also shared a part of my own story. Through the use of my platform and social media, I've been able to spread Reach Out, Speak Out to over 10,000 people. And as the year continues, my hope is to keep that number rising. Thank you for allowing me to visit this evening.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Abby Kate Daughtry, Miss Sampson County's teen. My community service initiative is Fit for Success, highlighting the importance of physical education and the correlation it has to brain health among our youth. Through Fit for Success, I have been able to educate and inspire children that no matter at what age, you can take control of your personal health, your wellness, and your diet. Fit for Success has allowed me to speak in classrooms and educate children through my Fit for Success curriculum as well as the My Plate program. Just this morning, I was able to visit Midway Elementary and speak to the second graders on my Fit for Success curriculum and educate them on how important it is to fuel your own body. Through Fit for Success, I have also been able to co-host multiple sports camps across different counties for kids of all ages in volleyball and soccer, as well as host a playground and sports equipment drive where I was able to give back to the children in the classrooms that I've been able to reach. In just a few short weeks, I will be competing for the title of Miss North Carolina's teen. So I thank you for the support that you have given me as I represent Sampson County at Miss North Carolina's teen, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Do we have one more, or is that it? in attendance?
I think they want some photos.
Okay, well, I thought we had one more queen that was here. We certainly see that we're well represented here in Sampson County. Is it appropriate for us to, all right, please come up. We'll certainly do a photo op. How are we gonna do this?
We gonna stand up or do that?
Congratulations for all the work y'all do.
It may work better if y'all sit and they stand behind you.
Very impressive.
Let them stand behind you.
He's standing in the chair.
Here, split us out there. You're perfect right there.
You're good, you're good.
We'll split everybody.
You in between? Okay.
Move over that, yep. Look at him first.
Felt like commissioners, we were set up to fail. Thank y'all for coming, we really appreciate it.
Very impressive.
Thank y'all for your time, and please remember these girls in your thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
We would.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you very much. All right. This next one's not gonna be as entertaining, I don't think. All right, I'm gonna open a public hearing for the proposed budget of the fiscal year 2023-24. Is there anyone in the audience that's got anything they want to say? The floor is open.
We haven't had anyone sign up so far.
None, all right. All right, hearing none.
You did, just for note, you do have one written comment that was given to each of you. Don't know that we need to read that, but just to acknowledge.
Okay, we acknowledge that we do have one email on the budget, or two, was it one or two?
One, it'll be included in.
Okay, all right. All right, we'll close the public hearing. All right, we'll open another public hearing for the economic development expenditures for 2023-24 budget. Anyone have any comments, or the floor is open?
I have a comment.
This is, of course, this is pertaining to the economic development. Okay? Please come forward. State your name and address and.
Okay, my name is Larry Sutton. My physical address is 4761 Bearskin Road, Clinton, North Carolina, 28328. And pertaining to the budget and the economic development section, the county manager made reference to that in the budget when he referenced that he was setting the table for the future or preparing for the future dinner party for the county. And I really admire that analogy that you made about the future budget and the economic part of it as well. My concerns are that we be very mindful as we move toward development here in the county for the future. It's a very noble goal, and we should all support the efforts to develop our county economically as we can for the future. And my concerns are that we make sure that the table is being set for everybody. We need to be very careful and make sure we are being inclusive with the budget of the economy and being equitable as well, and also diverse. The future economic standing anywhere, I believe, has to consider those three components. Again, diversity, equity, and inclusion. That, to me, speaks for the values that we as a society ought to have and ought to possess and ought to want to share. We are a community where everyone needs to be included. There needs to be equity, and there needs to be diversity when it comes to the future economic standing in our county. So I applaud County Manager Causey's efforts at growing the economy for the future. And we should all applaud him for his efforts as well and make sure it is one that is diverse, inclusive, and equitable for all of the folks who live in Sampson County. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Sutton. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. I think this time we need to set dates for the budget session. Check your calendars, and Mr. Causey, when are we proposing?
I don't think we have given any specific dates. We can work with the board, and of course, the board has the option to have as many budget work sessions as you desire or need. One thing we do remind the board is appropriate for us to try to have the budget in its final state and approved, including the budget ordinance, by June 30th or before. And we would ask that from the time you have your last budget session, that you allow us 1 week to prepare the budget ordinance to make sure we have proper time to cover all the details, to make sure everything is included in that budget ordinance that needs to be.
Okay. Can we look at next week? Calendar's clear. Then we got a conflict.
I will not be here 14th, 15th, and 16th.
14th, 15th, 16th. That shoots that, doesn't it?
Can we do the 13th, 12th, or 13th?
12th good for you? Okay, really?
12th, how are you?
I'm good.
Okay.
12? You good?
What time, Sue? What time?
Y'all tell me.
Okay, so the 12th, we're setting the 12th. What time, Mr. Causey, is
That's the convenience of the board.
9 a.m.?
9 a.m. would work good.
That work for everyone? Okay, so the 12th at 9 a.m.
And I assume we will do it in the administrative conference room.
Yes, sir.
And when we get to the end of the meeting, we will ask you to recess and reconvene, so
Yes, sir.
we won't have to do another publication.
Okay. All right, you'll send out a notice for us on the calendar. All right, that sounds good. All right. So we'll go on now to item 3, and Mr. Causey, I think you're up on the Clinton Sampson Rescue.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, we have been working very diligently with the rescue squads and the fire departments, and we have vitalized the fire commission, and the fire commission has done a good job on a variety of things. So we are trying to give our emergency management efforts a great deal of effort and support. At the same time, we want to support all of our rescue squads as much as we can. In the case of the Clinton Sampson Rescue Squad, they have had some challenges for a number of years. In fact, if you recall, they have been under a reduced contract for the last several years trying to maintain a viable operation. But as we have said in the notes, they have not responded to the agreed upon number of calls for service, and part of this is because of their inability to maintain an active roster, and I don't think that is necessarily a disgrace, but if you don't have the human support, you cannot. And then we had done some revisions to the contract, wanting them to respond to a number of calls, and they just have not been had the ability to fulfill those requirements, and so therefore we have gotten down that we are recommended that the county terminate its contract with the Clinton Sampson Rescue EMS and discontinue funding.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Anyone? Okay. So, all right, I move that we terminate the contract between Sampson County and the Clinton Sampson Rescue EMS and discontinue the funding as recommended. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, that's passed. Charles, I think you're up again. You and Rick?
I think I'm going to allow our attorney to talk about that since he
Okay.
has been involved in some of the revised contracts.
Mr. Chairman, Roseboro Rescue Squad has traditionally provided three different types of service. They provide EMS service, rescue service, and dive rescue service. We received a letter from them recently informing us that they were discontinuing their EMS component. Their current contract with the county covers that, and so we began to negotiate with them to reach a deal on a new contract that would just cover the rescue and dive rescue services that they will continue to provide pursuant to the new contract. We have also been using their facility in Roseboro for some time. We do not have a written lease agreement with them, so you also have a lease agreement before you. The county will pay them $1,200 a month to use their facility. That is the same monthly rate that we pay other locations for use of their facilities for our EMS personnel. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about either of those. You'll need to approve just the resolution authorizing the execution of each of those documents. It's bundled into one resolution.
Okay. Anyone have questions? Anyone? Questions?
I move that we approve the resolution between the County Board of Commissioners and Roseboro Rescue Squad.
I got a second here. All in favor, raise your hand. All right, it's approved, unanimous. All right, so this time I'll turn it over to Vice Chair Lee for appointments.
We have some appointments tonight, but let me preface that by saying I really appreciate the citizens of Sampson County that will come forward and serve on these committees. It's a lot of hard work and it's volunteer and we really appreciate it. For the first one, I move that we reappoint Mary Tu to serve on the jury commission. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, and I serve on the advisory board of older adult services. Imagine that. We have to have, we're reappointing some people in here and adding some people. I move that we appoint Carolyn Jernigan as the Midway representative, Judith Barnes as the Newton Grove representative, Felicitine Van as our Clinton representative, Mac Maxwell from Clinton, and Martin Martinson as our Garland representative. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Shows unanimous.
Got the reappointment. Got her already. All right. All right, I think that takes care of item 4. We have the consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions on that? Not, I'll accept the motion to approve.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second. Got a second? All in favor? Passed unanimous. Okay, I think we're down now to the county manager's report.
Mr. Chairman, I do not have a lot, but I do want to mention one thing. As I advised earlier today in an email, we have a new public works director. We've got Mr. Mark Turlington, who has been with us for 10 years and has also been our interim director for the last several months. I did not ask to show you how busy he is. I did not ask to have a walk-on, to have a special recognition because he had a 5:30 meeting today trying to resolve an issue that has the potential to save the county about $20,000 a year. So I decided that was more important than formally standing up here before the board. But with that, I would like to invite Mark up to take the balance of my 2 or 3 minutes to share any comments he would like to make. We're real proud of Mark and the things he and his entire department have done and are doing. If you go to one of their monthly progress meetings and listen to the projects that are being developed or underway, it is almost overwhelming to talk about it.
Yes. Good evening. I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve as the Public Works Director. I look forward to the challenges ahead of us, and we've got a lot of challenges, a lot of work going on in water and buildings, and I'm looking forward to the challenges. And if there's anything we can do, any questions y'all have, feel free to call my office anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Turtle. Okay, I think, is that it?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're down to the public comment section. Ms. Shannon, will you read our public comment direction?
In accordance with the North Carolina General Statutes, we have a period of time reserved for comments from the public on topics that are not included in this agenda. Speakers will be called forward in the order that they registered and should begin by stating their name and address. Each speaker is allotted 3 minutes for their comments. The light on the lectern will turn yellow with 1 minute remaining and will turn red and chime when the time is up. If the allotted time is not used, remaining time cannot be yielded to another speaker. We ask that when your time is up, you promptly conclude your comments and return to your seat. The public comment section is intended to provide a forum for the board to listen to its citizens, and there should be no expectation that the board will answer questions raised during this time. As always, a full copy of these policies and procedures is available on our website as well as at the registration table.
Thank you, ma'am. The duly adopted rules of procedure and conduct for the meetings of the Sampson County Board of Commissioners sets the standards of decorum for its members, our staff, and for those in attendance. In these rules, we pledge to the citizens of Sampson County our respect, and we ask our citizens to likewise conduct themselves in a respectful, courteous manner, both with the board members and fellow citizens. Receiving input from our citizens is an integral part of our meetings and critical to the board's ability to make sound, prudent decisions that are responsive to the needs of the community. Offering with civility, such input is very much appreciated by this board. However, per our adopted policy, commenters shall not use profanity, shall not engage in slander or impertinent or personal attacks as they offer public comments. Any input which is offered in the form of rude personal criticism of an individual is not only unwarranted and unnecessary, it is simply not helpful in our deliberations. We appreciate your compliance with the standards and decorum. So at this time, I call Elaine Hunt. Please state your name and address.
Elaine F. Hunt, 7171 Old Warsaw Road, Turkey, North Carolina. Good evening. I heard in your prayer you say guide you in your decisions to do what is right. And I heard the others say amen. And so I'm hoping tonight you will strive to do what is right concerning the request I'm bringing forth again tonight, which is our need for county water because of the brown water that we now have. We're coming to you because you are the overseers of Sampson County and its problems and concerns. Now, I know, and I've been looking into investigating, that there are grants out there, I'm told, through agencies such as the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality. And I'm also been told that you have more accessibility to these grants and grant information than I am. Therefore, I'm coming to ask if you all would look into grants or the information so that we on Old Warsaw Road can have clean water, good drinking water, water so we can wash our clothes like you wash your clothes. Water is essential to life, and it's a necessity. It's not something we just wanting to be wanting. We need clean water, and we're asking for consideration from you to help us get clean water, help us to get county water. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt. Mr. Jerome Warren.
Good evening. I come this evening with two things on my mind, and First of all, thank you for your service as we as veterans receive many times throughout as we walk around in the city and meet people. Number one is these garbage trucks that's running up and down the road. These things are so dirty. They pick up trash and garbage from everywhere that's been sitting for God knows how long, and they go to the dump, they dump it, they come back out. This trash has sit there and has fermented and done some of everything else to grow bacteria. And they running down the road, and we driving behind it or either passing by, and we having to breathe this air in. I refuse to ride behind one, and I refuse to pull up beside one at the stoplight. Can't these things be washed? The haul trucks has to be washed. Why they can't wash the garbage truck? That they will look presentable as they run down the road and perhaps spare us of some germs. Second issue is our veteran park. We have veterans here tonight, and we are coming and asking that the park remain where it is, because to us, it's in the right place. It's where it can be seen. It's not tucked away somewhere in a corner. And we pray that our children and our grandchildren, as the bricks continue to grow out there with different veterans, our names on them, that one day that they will pass by and say, well, Mama or Papa, what is that? And they said, that's the veteran park that perhaps your grandfather, your father, your uncle, or some of your relatives have served. Their name is out there, and they want to walk out there and look at that. But if it's tucked somewhere that's not visible, then they may not develop that patriotism and pride that we have as veterans. As one veteran said earlier, we don't ask for much, but much have been asked of us. And so we ask this evening, if you would, please give strong consideration leaving our veteran park where it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Mr. Parker?
Good evening. Whitney Parker, 7745 Roseboro Highway. Just want to do a quick public service announcement in reference to the toxic dump in Sampson County. Just imagine happy families, clean water, good soil, clean air. Fast forward 30 years, strangers make, ties or agreements with other strangers. Fast forward to the present day. Gray skies, contaminated soil, water's terrible. You can't sleep, can't breathe. Just want to say there's an elephant in the room that none of us can avoid, and something needs to be done. Thank you so much.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Sutton, I think you're up again.
Again, Larry Sutton, 4761 Bearskin Road, Clinton, 28328. I have several items tonight just to comment on, as they are public matters. The first one is I would like to invite the chairman, Mr. Chairman, county manager, and the entire staff and board members to our upcoming Juneteenth celebration on Monday, June 19th. The city of Clinton is sponsoring their first ever Juneteenth celebration. And I have the distinct pleasure of being one of the two speakers for Juneteenth. So you are invited to come out and be a part of that. It will begin at 11 o'clock Monday morning, and the place is City Market on Elizabeth Street in downtown Clinton. Number two, I share Ms. Hunt's concern about clean water in her area where she resides. And I also share the comments made by Mr., I think, Warren. The Veterans Park here in Clinton is an established park that veterans and their supporters have come to admire and to enjoy. And I support the Veterans Council's effort to maintain the location of that park in downtown, or out there on Northeast Boulevard here in Clinton. Also, I personally share Mr. Whitney Parker's concerns about the Snow Hill landfill, because I knew his parents, and they both lived on Marion Amos Road that runs in the heart of the Snow Hill landfill. And his parents are no longer with him or with us. And I consider their death in part due to the toxic environment they lived in for decades. And in closing, the Gen Zers and the millennials will someday have some words to say about the Snow Hill Park as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sutton. Okay, is there anyone else would like to speak? All right, hearing none. Oh, I'm sorry, we do have Mr. Melvin. I'd almost marked you off.
Jimmy Melvin, 2057 Old Miss Highway. This is just, I guess, a thank you for consideration. The talk has been kind of watered, but I see that from April, there's been an application for a grant in the area from Claus Drive, Old Miss Highway, all the way down to Mintz. So we are hoping that I'm just encouraging you to make sure you dot all the i's and cross all the t's, make sure that we have the opportunity that comes to fruition and progressive growing. Our area is really growing, and we will be back the next time with an appeal to slow the speed limit down in that community, because it is the rapid fire drag strip for the sheriff deputies and everything else that comes through there, trying to keep a check on Roseboro and Garland, along with the trucks. And so we'll be coming back the next time, hoping to get with DOT and present something that we can appeal for to get that speed limit slowed down. Plus, we have the school right down in the curve at Mintz, and it's in a curve, so that's a difficult spot. But I'm hoping that this grant that you're applying for and the other grants you're applying for, in case that one don't work, and the one that you're applying for that one don't work, it all comes to fruition. And as I leave, did the opportunity for the company to apply to add a methane plant to the landfill. And we're gonna have a discussion on the 27th at the town hall. But it seemed to be a county issue, but it's gonna be at the town hall. But that's the application we're notified just the end of May. And now, 27th of June, we have to discuss whether we're gonna approve a grant permit for a methane plant that's gonna amp the RPMs of the odor and the contamination of the air in our entire area. So I hope you consider that, because you did a good prayer. I heard it when you came up. You wanted to do what's right. Let's don't get in trouble with the man that runs everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin. All right, we'll try it one more time. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Yep.
My name is Edward Gillum. I live at 817
West 2nd Street, Garland, North Carolina, 28441. I just want to say, good evening first. I just really wanted to say I thank the board. I thank the opportunity, Mr. Turlington. We had a meeting, had